Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Whatever, Whenever, the show where we talk about whatever we want, whenever we want. I am Robin,
Now I'm the Mentok, the whenever part of this podcast.
and I'm the whatever.
Or so we think. One day we're just gonna switch that up and no one's gonna
Yeah.
notice.
I'm the time traveler now.
So we've taken an extended break
Yes.
after about what 4 episodes we did.
Yeah, we did like
Um
4 episodes. In retrospect, we probably should have waited till the new year started, but I was just so excited to get this thing started. So,
we'll consider the end of 2021 as the practice run. So
yeah, the
this
prequel series. This is the real series.
this is the real podcast. All right, can we get an episode 1, 2?
Episode
You
1.
know,
Episode 1, the sequel.
the sequel.
Happy New Year's, everyone. We're in 2022 now.
Feels just like 2021.
It still feels like 2019 to me. It does not feel like any time has passed.
This is true. I mean, two things considered though. Like, as you get older, like the passage of time just seems like
Quicker.
the same. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I remember as a kid, it's just like, oh, we're going into 1999. This shit is crazy. Now I'm just like, oh, okay, Happy New Year. You know?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I definitely feel that.
But don't let my pessimism bring anybody down. New year means new beginnings. I know it's a meme at this point, but hey, if you want to correct yourself and make improvements to your life, I mean, by all means, go ahead and do that. I think that we all should improve as human beings, and you know, always be open to a fresh start. So, happy New Year to all of you.
My favorite New Year, New Me, like, meme is the one where it's like a background of a dirty attic and it's just this guy wearing rags and it's like, New Year, New Me. No more going outside. No more friends. The bats are back, and it's him like running away from like a photoshopped bat.
I mean, that's technically a new you. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
you could be a new person for the worst.
Yeah. True. Oh, what did you get for Christmas, my man?
So my Christmas was a little different this year because I had a brand new niece pop out recently.
Oh,
Or
nice.
I guess it's my first rodeo as an uncle. So I got to visit my sister and see my niece for the first time. So being on the Pacific Northwest, you know about that, right?
Yes.
It started snowing a little bit, which is new to me because I've been around snow, but I don't think I've had too many Christmases with snow.
Yeah, it was like our
Um,
first white Christmas in a while up here.
Yeah, because I know it doesn't ideally snow up there, you would think, but
Yeah. Oh,
the
shit,
conditions
hang on.
aren't always right. Yeah.
Hang on, I forgot to turn off my fan.
Oh, no
I have
problem. Take it.
background noise.
I feel like some of our fans will be a big fan of the fans. That was a little pun. But yeah, as he turns off his fan, we don't want to hear the echoing. So like sometimes getting that right acoustic sound position for the podcast can be a little annoying, especially like with this little studio I've built for YouTube. Sometimes like the mic just does not play well with me anymore. Um, so I don't know, unless I want to soundproof my apartment that I'm renting, which sounds annoying because I plan on moving out of here at some point. I gotta make the sound conditions sound as best as possible. So I understand the woes here.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back. Yeah, I was just mentioning getting the ideal sound when you're recording for things and YouTube and a bunch of other stuff. Like the sound microphones are just really finicky sometimes.
Yeah, that's why the first 2 episodes have like weird background stuff every time I talk because I just had the fan on. Yeah, but yes, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. The snow. There was a little bit of snow in the Pacific Northwest this year for Christmas, so I got to experience that. Got some clothes, and I guess the most relevant thing to this podcast, since we have talked about this game before, I did get a Final Fantasy 14 cookbook.
Oh,
Um, yeah, to replicate some of those recipes in the actual game. And I think it's pretty interesting. Even the way they wrote it, it's like in the perspective of two characters from the game exploring the world and trying to expand their cooking repertoire. So I've got to make a couple of drinks from it, which have turned out pretty nicely. But the dinner recipes probably need a little bit of a kick to them. That's my one critique. Some of them are a little poorly seasoned. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. Don't worry, I have like two cookbooks, one of which actually has my old username in the backer credits. But
Oh, nice.
yeah, um, but yeah, I have yet to make anything significant. I made like a hamburger and a pizza from the recipes in one of them, but the other one is more advanced, so I haven't made anything from it really.
Was the pizza the YouTube video you made a while back?
Yes, that was that one, the one that's now unlisted because it had my face in it.
That's some quality YouTube right there.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe
know if you guys will be able to see it.
my plan for that is like one day I want to be able to get really good at rotoscoping whenever I get like a like drawing pad, and I'll just rotoscope those old videos and put them back up, so that way they don't technically have my face in them.
That'd be pretty nice.
Yeah,
That's an interesting. I've always been a fan of rotoscope, especially like the old Disney cartoons and stuff like that, the old Disney movies where they use that technique.
yeah. I
Um,
I think if you're like using your own original footage, that's like fine. It's like when people like trace over other people's work or other people's footage. That's when I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't do that. But
yeah,
yeah, like I know
yeah,
there's a big stigma around tracing in the art community, and I completely understand it and I agree with it for the most part. But like, if your stance is that all tracing is bad all the time, regardless of context, then you need to get off your high horse, pal.
right.
Yeah,
I think as long as it's not done maliciously, tracing is fine in my opinion.
yeah,
Especially if you're making like something new out of what you trace. You know.
yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, I got some pretty cool things this year myself, actually. Um, I got a new little head pillow that my grandma got me, super soft. Um,
Okay. Is that
I
for just sitting around or sleep?
sleep,
Okay.
yes, and I got a whole bathrobe that my mom got me. It's also like really soft,
So
and
now
some
you're a classy man.
yeah, and I have hair towels too now because I
Look
have
at this.
long golden locks. Yeah, and oh yeah, my mom got me Ace Attorney: Great Detective Chronicles on Switch.
Hey,
Yeah.
I've actually been playing that like between my flights and stuff like that during Christmas and all that.
Oh, nice.
Um, yeah, I really like the game. It
Yeah.
takes some time. Like all Ace Attorney games have those little down moments
Yeah.
where it kind of drags a little bit, but like this one is pretty good.
Yeah. I like the I'm starting on episode 5 of the first game in the collection, which I think is the last one for the first game, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm almost done with the first game in the collection, and I've been like playing these games. I'm like, why did Japan think that America wouldn't want these games? And then spoilers for anyone. It's not like a huge spoiler, but I'll give you a spoiler alert for anyone. They go to like this pawn shop on Baker Street, and the owner of the pawn shop is a very interesting fellow who, anytime it seems like anything is going wrong with his business, instead of using this gun that he has to threaten the person stealing, he uses the gun to threaten himself.
Like it's such an interesting quirk. But,
Yeah, it's
you know,
so it's so weird. Like I remember seeing that. Like I remember like just seeing like the first running animation that he does where he like runs towards the counter to get the gun. I remember seeing that
yeah.
and I was like, what the fuck is this man doing?
It's a fascinating character. Is that the reason why, or there was other reasons?
There
Right?
was other
Sherlock.
reasons. I think it was like cultural differences, and then like also they were probably worried about the game touching lightly upon like themes of racism, because like if you've played that game, you'll know that like when they go to Britain, it's like there's a lot of people who just like, because the characters are Japanese and they go to Britain in the game, and once they get there, there's a lot of people saying stuff like, "Oh, you lowly Nipponese people," or like
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're clearly highlighting the prejudice, and I'm sure that was a thing at the time. I'm not sure how accurate it is as far as like um, Japanese migrating to London and vice versa.
yeah,
But I do know that historically a lot of this stuff, in the time period is pretty accurate, and so there's a lot of like customs that you can learn from that game too, like how people used to live. Um, what is it, 1800s? Where it takes place?
the 19th century, I think.
Yeah, around that time.
Yeah,
You learn a lot about like customs for people living in Britain at the time. So it's pretty interesting in that sense,
yeah,
and you have to learn those things to properly like get through some of those cases.
yeah.
So
I
it's pretty cool.
didn't know there was a window tax in Britain until I played
Yeah,
the
that
game.
window tax is essentially what I'm referring to when I talk
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. For those of you who don't
So
know, like Britain used to have a tax for the amount of uh, windows you had on your building, so a lot of poor families would just buy some bricks and brick up the windows so they didn't have to pay the tax.
pretty much.
Yep.
So, but they found easier ways to get around taxing people now. So
Yeah.
we don't need the windows anymore. We just tax your house 1,000%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess we're 12 minutes in, so we're kind of late on this. But
Uh,
we want to talk about Activision, right?
yes, it's time for our favorite segment. What the fuck has Activision done now?
What has Activision done now?
I don't know. Why don't you tell us, Mentok?
So, I'm gonna assume that the lack of news is because of the holidays. I always have this assumption that the world kind of goes on pause for like almost a month, um, because of the holidays and the New Year and stuff. So, you see camaraderie around the world most of the time.
Yeah.
So I think tensions were eased for a little bit, but we have a brand new article that came out maybe about 3 days ago. So fresh into the new year. We're hearing more about Raven Software, um, who is now pretty much they're pretty much on strike right now. So Raven Software is a software company that's underneath Activision Blizzard. A lot of their QA and some developers were laid off after the release of Call of Duty Vanguard. And a lot of people are trying to understand what the point of that was, considering Call of Duty always makes a profit, right? And Activision does, and there's other gaming companies that do this, but they have this tendency to have these people work on a game, lay off a bunch of them once it's done, even though they make a profit, rinse and repeat. So I guess they're just like, yeah, let's not keep these people once we're done with this project because we have another team working on the next Call of Duty. So we'll figure out the next Call of Duty after that. I don't know what goes through their head when they do it, but that whole team is on strike right now, and demands are not being met. So, of course, Activision is doing their whole PR stint on top of all this sexual harassment lawsuits going on in the state of California. They have a lot on their plate right now. So
Yeah. And I think we might have brought this up last time, but I think it's just scummy to lay off so many people before the holidays. Like right before the holidays.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, so this is the major point of people wanting game developers in the gaming industry to unionize, um, because essentially they would act on stuff like that. You'd be more or less protected or somewhat protected, where they would fight for you with that union. But it's kind of ridiculous. Like as a game, like I feel honestly, it's just game development is the least fulfilling in the tech industry. But considering it makes so much money, it's hard for me to believe that you as a game developer or a QA tester for the gaming industry would just be on such thin ice all the time. Um, and I'm not speaking for all studios out there. This is just mostly like the huge ones that just love laying people off to save costs at the end of the day, while their CEOs make millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you guys are in, if you guys ever are trying to figure out what's going on with Activision, you can literally Google Activision, hit the news tab, and there's gonna be something there like every week. I guarantee that.
Yeah, I guarantee as well. It's like I don't know. Like I lost my train of thought. Shit. Um. Oh yeah. I don't really know like exactly if we've had any major updates on anything else related to them, but it seems like they've been, they're such a big company and they're like keep fucking up enough for it to like constantly be in the news and for us all to, see their blunders and stuff, especially now that they have a microscope under them. So, I guess the more we learn of how scummy they are, the more good it is for us in general.
I mean,
Because we're
I
educated
guess as
and
a
stuff.
like as a gaming journalist, like you'd probably just be staring at Activision all day to get those articles out at this point. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I can see
it's
that.
like free news for them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Uh, I guess like another thing we would touch on. I'm not gonna go too deep into this one because there is not that many. This is basically there's not a lot of evidence to back this up, but it looks like Overwatch fans are trying to track down the Blizzard employee that stole breast milk, and we talked about that last podcast.
I think it was either the last one or the one before that, yeah.
Yeah, so the Overwatch fans are trying to find this person, and we decided not to cover this one too heavily because they took to 4chan and past posts to investigate. And it looks like some posts were could have been done anonymously um, by that employee.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna go too deep into this. If you guys want to look that up, just Google Activision breast milk. You'll be able to find that in the news tab as well. But
Yeah, I
yeah, these Overwatch fans are trying to have this guy be held accountable, which I mean I wouldn't be opposed to, but
yeah, I think
sometimes online detectives have done more bad than good.
let's
So
not forget the famous we did it Reddit and they got the wrong guy.
yeah, yeah. I remember seeing that live. I mean, that whole Boston bombing situation on Reddit was like there was like 3 live feeds on the front page of Reddit, which I don't really see as a thing anymore. I haven't seen a lot of live feeds for coverage anymore.
I mean,
But
I don't use Reddit, so I wouldn't know.
yeah, like there was like a live chat with all the police, radios being broadcasted and things like that. Like honestly, if you were running away from the police, all you had to do was read Reddit, and you probably would have had a good idea where the police were and what they were doing, and you would be able to listen to their radio, even though like that's kind of public, like it was broadcasted public or whatever.
Mhm.
These guys were just trying to be the detectives. They're like, oh my god, this guy must be this dude that went missing because we haven't heard from this guy in the same area. It must be this guy that committed the crime. And just for anyone who doesn't know about that story, um, like they blamed a guy who went missing, and ultimately his body was found after he committed suicide. Um,
Yeah.
but they blamed that person for a terrorist attack. So the family was getting abused, etc., etc. And yeah, once the FBI found the actual people, Reddit's just had their tail between their legs,
They
and that
had
was the end
egg
of that
all over
story.
their face.
Yeah, basically. And then of course Reddit blames Reddit for that too. It's just like, well, remember the last time that we did this? And I just love the hive mind. Like Redditors love talking shit about Reddit, but it's like, aren't you a part of it? You
Yeah.
know? I don't
It's
post. I just read. I've just stayed out of that entirely.
Yeah. It reminds me of that one Gus Johnson video, rest in peace that man's career. But like it reminds me of that one Gus Johnson video where they're like with like he's like plays the role of Reddit, and then Eddie Burback is like, whoa, Reddit. What I'm trying to say is that you sometimes take things a little too far. He's like, oh, so what you're saying is Reddit is the problem. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And like the whole point of him having like the Reddit characters, he's holding like an up and a down arrow for like the up and the down vote or whatever. He's like,
Right.
here, can you hold this please? And he's like, sure. So like Eddie holds them. He's like, Gus is like, wow, Reddit, you really went too far on this one. And they're like, hey, wait a minute. Yeah.
So yeah, that I mean that's basically what I have on that. I guess we're getting back to Activision or closing out the segment, but um, yeah, if you guys are trying to do any type of investigative stuff, just you know, leave it to the ones who are good at it. I don't think scrolling through 4chan threads is gonna get anybody dead to rights.
Yeah.
So, um, any good games that you have coming out this next couple of months that you're interested in, Robin?
Um. Oh, I can finally shill this. You probably already know where I'm going with this.
Yes.
My friend Andrew Allenson of At Games is alongside his brother Brian making an update for their game Y2K, a postmodern RPG. It's the 1.5 update, IV, as it's in the marketing. I'm beta testing it currently, and I love it. I cannot tell you what I love about it because I'm under NDA, but I like it. It looks really cool.
I didn't even know that you were actually like a part of the beta tester team now.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's
no, I joined like I think after our last podcast actually is when they
okay.
let me in. Yeah, but
Wow.
yeah, I like it. I They have a whole bunch of new story stuff added. They're spotlighting a bunch of characters. I'm allowed to say all this because it's stuff that they've already said publicly. They have new
Hmm.
music, and there's like some other stuff that's I think you're all are gonna look forward to, and I like it a lot. They are aiming for release this year. That's all they've said on that matter, I think. But
So we haven't talked about this on the podcast yet, but from a very neutral perspective, because I have not played Y2K at all. In fact, Robin over here gifted it to me, and I decided to wait until that update to experience it.
yes, and I
Um,
think that's the best situation to go in with the game currently is to
right.
wait for the update.
And that game released what 2018,
19 January,
19.
yeah, January 2019.
Okay. So, this game is probably one of the most controversial indie titles that I've seen. Um, and I want to attribute it to a couple people saying negative things, which caught word of mouth, and a bunch of people just thought it was a great game to just go ahead, play, and bash if it didn't like blow their collective mind. And
Yeah,
this is from a very neutral perspective because I have never played this game. I haven't touched this game. I've seen the YouTube critiques, and these guys almost seem like the game was made to piss them off. That's how they like act in some of these
yeah,
YouTube
that's
videos.
yeah, and it's very unfortunate. There's this one guy. I don't think I want to call him out like by name, but like there's this one guy who like made this hilariously bad video on the game, and I say hilariously bad because like he starts off the video by like complaining that he had to make a new Rant Sona avatar because people were complaining about him having a furry one, and then he immediately like uh, animates Andrew like a South Park character while taking some quotes he said out of context. And later on in the video, he goes on to say, "Oh, I have nothing but respect for Andrew Allenson," when he has literally been just shit talking the guy the whole like thing. And he also says like, "Oh, I hate the main character Alex. He's such an asshole. I hate this guy." Blah blah blah. And then like he goes to like literally the worst point for Alex as a character in the game, and you'll know what it is when you see it. He goes to literally the worst point for the game and says, "Oh, actually, I agree with Alex here. He was in the right here."
So and with that, like, if you are trying to take a stance on something, I mean, this might be a, I'm sure some people would disagree with this statement, but like if you're making a YouTube video, um, what a lot of people have to understand as creators, chances are no one's watching your entire video. On average, we just have very quick eyes around here, and if someone gets to the end of your video, that's great. But I think if you're making a hit piece, and I'm gonna call it hit piece, you got to say how you feel about these. Like, I think you have to mention, hey, like, no, I like these people and I think they did a great job, but here's some critiques. That
Yeah.
has to be at the beginning. You can't like shove that in at the end.
Yeah.
Um,
I I wouldn't call that video a hit piece mainly because I don't think that's what he intended. But there is like someone else who I'm not even gonna bother bringing up that I think you could call it a hit piece. But
we don't say no names around here. You know what I mean?
no, the
Wait,
only
wait till we do though. Let's start
yeah.
calling out some people. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
If anyone pisses me off enough, I will call them out by name. But you know,
Like Bobby Kotick.
yes, Bobby Kotick, fuck that guy. He can go
Bobby,
die.
I'm gonna kill your family, Kotick,
Yes, he did say that. He did say that, didn't
or something similar to that.
he? Yes,
Don't quote me on that, but he did say something similar to that.
yes,
Go ahead.
yeah. But yeah, no, if any of you are curious, I'll have it linked in the description. I did interview Andrew about the update before. This is before I was going to be a beta tester, but like, yeah, I did interview him. It's on my Newgrounds. I'll have it linked in the description if any of you are curious, because he does clarify some other things that you might have heard out of context before. So,
Y-
yeah,
Yeah, and I actually got to read this interview myself, and it's pretty cool to see him comment on all of that, because I know that it wasn't an easy time for him when all the criticism, hit social media and YouTube and all that stuff. So
no,
just seeing like a pretty laid back interview and a very optimistic perspective on him making updates and learning from the past, I think I'm actually looking forward to seeing what this update entails, and I want to take the time to see what you guys think, or
yeah,
see what I think about it.
yeah. See what you think, and then also if you're listening and you want to check out the game when the update comes out, I am interested to see what you think. I personally, I'm consider Andrew a friend of mine, and I'm really proud of all the work that he's done. And I think it's cool that he and his brother are just making what they want to make. And they haven't ignored any criticism or anything like that. That's stupid. They never ignore that stuff. But like,
which should be which you should be encouraged to do.
yeah,
I honestly think that anyone who has a creative mindset and wants to put their work out there should just go ahead and do it. Like,
yeah,
most of the time you're not going to end up in a situation like Y2K where everybody's shoving negative opinions down your throat. But I think if you have any interest in just putting your work out there, just do it and don't worry about the reception or how many people see it. Just keep doing it, because it actually feels fulfilling, like just sharing something that you're passionate about with the world. And I think that's what these devs are doing, especially if they're really going into like a big update like this. That's why I'm very excited to play it, whether I like the game or not. I do see some very talented and I guess very passionate people surrounding this game, so I'm looking forward to it.
yeah. And I don't really have a whole lot more to say, but yeah, if Andrew is listening or anything like that, you know, keep up the good work. I'm proud of you, friend. You're cool.
And maybe once I've fully completed it, we'll swing back around and actually discuss the game on the podcast.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good idea. Maybe we can even invite them on and or something. I don't know.
Yeah, if they're willing.
Yeah, that would be cool. All right. Anything you want to discuss? Any games that you're looking forward to?
Um, So I think that the closest release right now, I don't want to say looking forward to, but I'm probably gonna buy this. Arceus Legends or Pokemon.
Oh, Pokemon Arceus. Pokemon
Yes,
Legends Arceus. Yeah.
Pokemon Legends. That's yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. You start with this game. I'm curious to see what you think.
I think I think it looks interesting. I'm excited for it in that I think if it does well, it could be a new direction for Pokemon to take. I'm someone who's just like fine, I guess, with the state of the games. Like I've kind of like acknowledged that we're never going to get another Black and White or 2 or anything like that, you know. So I've just kind of like let it go, and now I'm just, hey, if the new Pokemon game comes out and it looks all right, then I'll get it. Haven't gotten Diamond and Pearl because I heard they were broken games, and I saw like a whole bunch of glitches and stuff, so I just kind of skipped those ones because I was like, whatever. I'll just play Platinum instead if I want to play Sinnoh. Yeah.
So I think we'd both agree that Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver and then Black and White were just like peak Game Freak.
I think so.
I think
Yeah.
I think that's when they peaked.
I would throw in Platinum in there as well. I know some people will be like, slow engine, Sinnoh sucks. I don't care. It's my first game in the franchise. I have too much nostalgia for it.
uh, that what Platinum was right before Heart Gold and Silver, and then it went
Yes.
into yes. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So we'll say that the DS. I think that hardware was the best for them.
Yeah.
I think they got very comfortable with. I think it was just basically the DS was built for Pokemon in my opinion.
I
Um,
totally agree.
yeah, like it was just an amazing tool set. With the dual screens, you have like all your little gadgets at the bottom that you can use to assist and for all three. Um, just having the menus down there was it was a big deal. So yeah, I think that was peak Game Freak, and then now Game Freak, I don't know if I think they just struggle with 3D overall. Um,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can kind of see that. I'm not really sure, like, if it's like an issue of them not having enough time to develop, or if they're like still trying to get used to the engine and stuff. But yeah, it definitely seems like they have been struggling just a little bit.
I would love to see them bring like a Nintendo first party team to assist or something like that. Um, not first party, would it be second party?
Yeah, I
I think
think it
that's
would be
what it is.
second.
Yeah, second party essentially is kind of an in-house but not Nintendo directly. So like Monolith Soft, for instance, who a lot of people, I'm not sure if a lot of people know this, but Monolith is the group that makes the Xenoblade Chronicles games. They assisted Nintendo with Breath of the Wild, which is why it just kind of feels very natural, that open world. They basically worked on it with Xenoblade Chronicles X. So
Is
whatever they did in that game, they pushed toward Breath of the Wild, and it was just a dream team of people that worked together to make this beautiful landscape. I honestly think that Game Freak needs that propping up from someone who's good with those things,
wait
and then they can focus on the gameplay loops.
is that why Breath of the Wild had the Xenoblade 2 crossover stuff in it?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you look at Xenoblade Chronicles X, it's just like the way they advertise that game, they advertise Breath of the Wild very similarly. So it's just like, yeah, if you see it, you can go there, which is very true for both games. So I think that
Interesting.
they just took that basis and then applied it to Breath of the Wild, and it worked out. Um, I honestly think that Pokemon would, if they're looking to do an open world type thing, especially with Pokemon Legends, um, just having that expertise, like they have it, it's available, but Monolith Soft may be busy at this point, but just having that expertise on how to build out that open world and considering the things that they had to consider when building those games, it would go a long way for these types of trying out new things in a sense.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
But I guess for the most part, I will be getting this game. I am going in rather blind. Like I know bits and pieces about what it entails. I'm a little disappointed that there's only one village for the entire game. Um, so that there's gonna be like a little hub village that you go back to, but there's not gonna be any type of new towns like you would normally expect in a Pokemon game, which is one of my favorites. I always love
Well,
coming up to a new town.
well, I
Um,
mean, maybe there'll be like a Terrytown kind of side quest like there was in like Breath of the Wild where you have to build up a town.
Hopefully, yeah. Like
Yeah,
hopefully we get like little areas that, don't have the same facilities as the hub does, but it's some type of
like a
it's lived in at least. I
like
would hate for this to be like one village in this entire place and nobody lives anywhere else.
yeah. I imagine
It's-
I imagine there'll probably be something like a trading outpost or like a camp or something somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um what do you think of the title of this game?
The
It
title.
it feels very spin-offy, which I guess it is, but like.
It feels spin-off, but it also like I think they're billing it as a main like title because they outsourced the remakes to like what was it, Idea or something?
Yes, it was somebody else. Hold on. Pokemon Diamond Pearl remakes
Yeah.
was ILCA.
ILCA, okay, that's who it was. It was ILCA, and Junichi Masuda directed that, but the main Game Freak team has been working on Legends Arceus, which
How involved is Matsuda in all this?
I
Masuda.
I have no idea. I know that he's like been the director of the past games for like a couple of years now.
Because what I'm seeing with Nintendo is like a lot of the old guard is just kind of stepping back and advising.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm very I'm back and forth on how I feel about their advisory status. Like I think Miyamoto doesn't always make the best decisions. Um, for instance, like I guess they have like a lot of new blood that wants to expand things, and he's like, no, we're not doing this with Mario. But
Yeah. I think
that's my opinion on
I
that.
think that's kind of how it is with a lot of Japanese businesses, though. Like you have all these, there's like a bit of a disconnect between the older and the newer generations, where like
Yeah,
the old generations are very much stuck in like the tradition, where they're like, it has to be done this way, we have to keep doing it this way, this is how it's always worked, and the new like young generation is like, it's like, but I mean, we're like this is like we need to change and stuff. We need to diversify. We need to expand. We need to do all this stuff, this, and that. And then but the old people are the ones who have all the power, and they're like, nope, nope.
so
Yeah, I could be totally wrong. I could be totally wrong. I'm gonna make
no,
that. I'm gonna clarify
I
that.
I agree with that. I mean, this is somewhat speculation, but I
Yeah.
feel like the one game series in Nintendo's tool belt that has like that young group or like I guess new blood working on it is Splatoon,
Yeah, I totally agree.
and it shows. Like I think that game does everything right. I mean, however you feel about Splatoon, if you don't like it, you do like it. I'm talking to the audience in general. They make a lot of modern day decisions for that game. And they've like putting out a game and then you have free updates constantly where you're supporting it for months and months and months, and then you have these events like it's never really a dull moment. And I really loved Splatoon 2, and I'm looking forward to Splatoon 3,
Same.
which should be out this year, right? Or is that 2023? I can't remember.
I think they said this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if it gets delayed, given COVID and all that.
Right. You would think that would be for their next system, but you know.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe we'll get yearly Splatoon games.
I wouldn't even mind that.
I would because I feel like making a franchise yearly kind of oversaturates it and diminishes it. But
Splatoon 2 came out 2017 though. It's been a while. Like it was a Switch
Yeah.
launch title
yeah,
or
that's
close
true.
to one. It
Yeah,
was like the summer right after.
yeah. I don't know. I'd be okay with the Splatoon 3 right now, but if in like the year after that we got Splatoon 4, I'd be like, whoa, slow down, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another example on the opposite end of things, I guess, with the old guard would be Balan Wonderworld. um, That one I never got a chance to play. I'm not going to assume it's bad, but I am going to take the advice of all the reviews and probably stay away from it. Um, but that is an interesting game that a lot of the old Sonic team people who were just there from his inception and who were in charge of the old Genesis games and designed characters from back in the day, like a lot of those guys were involved. Um, and it looked like it was going to be something similar to Nights into Dreams, which is, I would say, like more or less a sister series to Sonic. Um,
Kind of.
kind of. If they kept it up, it kind of would have been.
Yeah.
But I mean, they've crossed paths quite a bit because it's the same team, Sonic team.
Yeah.
Um, I think that they looked like they were trying to get out something that was very similar to that, and just it started as probably a small title, like I want to work on this small thing, and it got a lot of publicity, and they're like, okay, let's add all these features.
And then,
Yeah,
yeah, and then
and
Square
then
Enix got involved, I think.
well, Square Enix was involved from the start, and
Okay, yeah, that
surprisingly,
makes
they were
sense.
just like, hey, Yuji Naka, a guy who used to make Sonic games, go ahead, take the reins. We'll give you a small team. And he's like, hell yeah, I'm gonna make this the biggest thing that you ever seen in your life, and I think that's where he screwed up because he
Yeah.
could have had like a nice little indie title with that Knights aesthetic and sell it for like $30, like
Yeah.
maybe like a 6 to 7 hour game and you sell it for like 30-40 bucks. I think it would have done well in that case, and I think that's why people are so upset because it had a lot of potential, and the design crew, whoever designed all that stuff, they were on their A game because I really like the designs in it.
What I think is most upsetting about that is that like when the game was coming out, Yuji Naka said in interviews like, if this game doesn't do well, my career is over, essentially.
Yeah,
And
and that's kind of what happened.
yeah,
Um, he resigned. He didn't even have Square Enix fire him.
yeah,
He resigned, and he just started working on a mobile game on his own. Like he is actually developing it, and it was kind of like a 2048 spinoff.
huh,
Um, and I think it's out for Android or something like that. He was like, "Hey, I would really appreciate you guys checking out my game. It's free or whatever." But it just kind of like it's sad that someone who was so influential on the gaming industry and put out like a iconic character or assisted in that is just here making 2048 on a mobile phone now, after all that. It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. It is pretty sad to see how the mighty have fallen.
So yeah, that's kind of like my thing with the old guard versus new. I think honestly, just take your directing experience and be open to new ideas. Kind of see what the market is doing. It's a little bit different in Japan. I think the ones that embrace that have succeeded. I'm gonna put From Software in that category because they know exactly what people want on both sides of the globe, in
Yeah,
my opinion. And they've really played to that, and now they're like a world class developing team.
yeah,
Nintendo just makes so much money that I think that they just keep those practices in place and they don't care. So,
yeah.
um,
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
but yeah, that's basically where did I start with that?
Legends Arceus.
Yes. Okay, so that game I will be getting that comes out January 26th or so.
Literally the day after my birthday.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Pokemon game. People are gonna buy the shit out of it, and there's gonna be a lot of people bitching on the internet about how it sucks and how
Yeah,
they could have done better.
I
And
like.
it's gonna get 8 out of 10s.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. No, you're totally right. That's how it always goes. Like it's like an 8 out of 10. People on the internet complain, bitch, harass Game Freak if they feel like it, uh, and then the game sells bangbusters and guarantees a sequel.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just kind of in the middle of all of it. I think that Game Freak is not the greatest developing team out there. They've proved it after a while. I don't know, like what it was about that peak DS portion. Like maybe they were just really good at sprite work and they were really good at portable games.
Yeah.
But just transitioning over to like more powerful consoles just seemed like a bit of a struggle to them.
I
Optimizing things and
Yeah.
working with new mechanics and stuff and trashing old ones for whatever reason.
I saw this.
Excuse me.
I don't remember who said this, but I saw this take, and it just pissed me off so much because people will just say whatever they think uh, is like how the world works, and they refuse to accept that anything they think could potentially be wrong. This guy just said like so matter of factly, the recent Pokemon games have proven that generations 1 through 5 were just a fluke. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. What is wrong
How?
with you?
No, that's like, come on.
Yeah.
You can't get. You just don't sleep and gain world renowned status overnight. So
No.
clearly, like those generations did something right.
Yeah, they did
Um,
something right. I mean, like, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I can definitely speak to the impact of Gen 1 and 2.
Well, yeah, because you were born before me, and I think you were there during like the like peak period of all that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Pokemon in the 90s was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like it was everywhere. It's still everywhere, but it was
Was it
everywhere.
was it like on par with 2016? I think that's the only thing I can really compare it to with like the summer of Pokemon Go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but imagine that for a longer period of time.
Okay.
People were obsessed with Gen 1 like and regardless how you feel about it now and those mechanics now,
Yeah.
those were definitely not flukes because you're working with a Game Boy.
Yeah.
And it was
The Game Boy was on its way out before those games dropped, right?
yeah. So they were pushing the Game Boy Color at that point.
Yeah.
Which it released right around when the Game Boy Color dropped. And for anybody who doesn't know, the Game Boy Color was an upgraded Game Boy, but it was backwards compatible, and people were still releasing regular Game Boy games around that time. But Nintendo was pushing for the color stuff, and if you play a legit Game Boy Color game, you can see the difference between that and Game Boy games that released before it. There is a difference.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so Gen 1 came out, the show was killing it. That season 1, which honestly I think was like whoever directed it was the one that was, running the show, and everything looked the plot was great. Like it kept me I wanted to see Ash become a Pokemon master, whatever the hell that means these days.
Yeah.
Um I think that's like, like you have Luffy who wants to be the Pirate King. That feels like a goal, but a Pokemon Master, like, what does that entail? Like, at least with One Piece, it's like we got to find the One Piece and then become King of Pirates. With Pokemon Master, what does that mean? Catch every single one? Because they don't even advertise that anymore.
Yeah. I think they were like early bot start for Gen 3 still had like gotta catch them all on it, but then they were like, I mean, there's kind of a lot, and I don't think
we can't put all of them in one game, so
Yeah.
maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't say that because
Yeah.
you literally cannot. Um,
Yeah.
But my point being is Gen 1 and 2, well, Gen 1 especially, let me stick with that. It had something new that people did not experience at that moment in time. There was, of course, games that surrounded collecting things and, monsters and stuff like that. I think Shin Megami is a great example of that. But Pokemon, it was just something where you have all these fascinating designs and they can evolve into new forms, and you're getting all the gym badges, and you can go to school and say, yeah, I just got the 5th gym badge, like, you know what I'm saying? Did this, did that. And then you had that weird time period where nothing was on the internet. So, like, everybody could just go to school and say, hey, there's this truck behind the SSN that you can push, and Mewtwo and Mew will come out of it at the same time. And you got to beat Mewtwo, and then you got 2 seconds to catch Mew. Like, all that rumor stuff, propelled Pokemon even further. So I think there was definitely a lot of mechanics that were involved there that was not a fluke because they came out with Gen 2. And for people like me, that's still like one of my favorite generations because it just took everything from the first game and then just enhanced it to this crazy amount. Like, I could hit people up on my cell phone in that game, like that was just groundbreaking at the time to me, so I just remember how I felt as a child. And I hope that, Pokemon Legends Arceus has some child out there feeling the same way I did when I dropped like a blizzard on Gary's ass at the end of Gen 1, so
Yeah. I think like those old like rumors from back in the day are interesting because like when I was 13, I used to like uh Dad, if you're listening to this, you didn't hear this. I used to I used to sneak onto like the internet on like my DSi, and I'd look up like old Pokemon stuff, and I would always like look into like the old rumors, like Pokegods and stuff like that, because I was super fascinated by it. And I think my favorite one, because of just how funny it is in retrospect, there was like this Pokegod like called Doomsday, and it evolved into Doomsday, and the Doomsday sprite was literally just Death from Castlevania.
I vaguely remember the Polka God one.
Yeah.
Pika Blue was definitely one too.
Yeah, Pika Blue was
That was the
one.
most popular one.
Yeah.
I remember one guy in elementary school. Casey, if you're listening, fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. No, but like this guy in elementary school came up to me like I've already like completely destroyed Pokemon in every form and fashion. Like, I've collected most of the Pokemon or whatever. I was more or less done with the game at that point, waiting for Gen 2 to come out.
Yeah.
Um, this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Yeah, man, there's a Pokemon called Goldbird. If you do this and that, you might find him. So let me know what you think." And like, you can't even confront these people because cell phones weren't big with kids at the time. And same with email. You're not really emailing or messaging anybody or anything like that. So you had to wait till you came back to school to confront that person. I remember it was almost planned. He told me this rumor, and I went and I did all this shit, and I just didn't see no Goldbird. And I think he was like referring to Ho-Oh,
Yeah,
which was
it sounds like
like
Ho-Oh.
yeah, which you would see in season 1 of the Pokemon anime. Like it's one of the first legendaries that Ash sees at the very beginning, and it looks very different from the Ho-Oh we have now. But
Yeah.
he was like, "Yeah, that's Goldbird though," and I'm like, "Okay." So I tried all this stuff, nothing worked. I'm like, "Oh my god, this man might have lied to me," right?
Yeah.
So it's the weekend though, so I had to wait 3 days, perplexed, until I came back to school on Monday. Guess what? Casey's sick, so I can't even talk to him about it. I'm trying to find him. I'm trying to track him down. I'm like, "Bro, I want this Goldbird thing that you're talking about," and yeah, I never got a solution to that. Then I realized I was being lied to. But hey, Gen 2 came out and I got my Goldbird. Ho-Oh. So, yeah, Casey. How you feel about that? There you go.
Nice.
But I kind of miss that time of gaming. Like, honestly, I love all the guides because, shit like Batman Arkham Asylum where I have to find every single Riddler trophy.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that organically. Like, I don't have time for that. I'm using a guide.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful for all that stuff on the internet. I'm not trying to be like back in my day, but like a lot of myths that surrounded video games. I'll put Grand Theft Auto in there too. Like, oh, Bigfoot,
Oh yeah.
and
No,
San Andreas and things like that. Like, all those gaming mysteries are super nice, and I think devs should lean into it a little bit, even though we'll figure out in like 2 hours
Yeah, like
because
even
these guys are like data miners are obsessed with this shit.
yeah. I
Just
think
do it,
yeah,
just
I-
throw a Loch Ness monster in the water or something.
Yeah, I think it's still pretty like cool how like especially in the case with like Rockstar, like they got inspired by like old like rumors, and they put like Bigfoot in Red Dead Undead Nightmare, and then of course there's the famous The Last One mission from GTA 5.
Yeah.
And even like there was like a bunch of rumors that in San Andreas you could run into serial killers, and of course none of that was true. But
But they made Manhunt out of that, right?
well, yeah, they made Manhunt, and then also I don't know if that Manhunt played into that, but like in GTA 4 there was a side quest character named Eddie, I think, and he's a serial killer that Nico comes across. And
Yeah, see, I love that Rockstar like takes. I mean, that's free ideas, free, right there.
Yeah.
And like it creates more publicity for your game. At like, hey, Bigfoot may have not been in the last one, but he's definitely here now.
Yep.
So, um, just as a quick side note, one of my favorite Rockstar games is called Bully. I'm not sure if anyone really cares about that game anymore.
Oh,
That was like GTA for kids. It was like a PS2 game. Maybe it's more popular than I thought, but I would love to see them either remaster that or make a sequel.
They actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. They recently had like a big leak of like all of this stuff for a canceled sequel.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard about that, which I did. I was so sad about that, but I think it was a fun game overall because it's just like you have to go to school, but sometimes you can skip class, and it was like GTA High School Edition or whatever, and it had a lot of charm to it. There's just things that you can pull off in that you can't pull off in GTA. So I think that's why I liked it so much.
Yeah.
So you want to take us off to the top of the hour? Do we have a little bit more time or what?
Um, it's been about 50 minutes. I think we're good for this one. So, thank you all for watching. This has been episode 5 of Whatever Whenever, and we will see you all later.
We're back, baby.
Yep, we're
Hey!
back. We're back. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. All right. See you later, everyone.
Peace.